includes within early specialisation. So, you know, specialising in one particular sport, it could be that they specialise in particular sport skills at an early age and therefore neglect the fundamental movement skills which need to be developed across the board. Neglecting fundamental movement skills basically inhibits athleticism. So, you know, we may not become that rounded athlete, and it may have a negative impact on our talent development or our development as a player of sport. So having that wide base, as we've discussed in, you know, the motor development and physical literacy sessions, it's really important. In addition to that, neglecting those movement skills and focusing on one sport can cause things like injury, burnout, whether that's overuse injuries, injuries to particular parts of the body which are synonymous with certain sports, and then obviously then dropping out as a result of that. So early specialisation has occurred at the expense of sound fundamental motor movement skills in the past, you know. So we're now looking to try and move away from early specialisation and ensure that all our athletes and children are engaged in those movement skills before they specialise. So now moving on, focusing on a kind of discussion around early specialisation. Children who specialise early in sport will most likely not develop that wide base of movement skills. They will probably only practice the skills necessary for their specific sport and will miss on the chance of acquiring a multitude of movement skills, which is important to take part in a range of physical activities later in life. Because the time commitment to their sport, their skill development base will be very narrow and vertical. So in terms of that mountain and motor development, it would be that shape opposed to that, wide base where you can have multiple peaks. They may be disadvantaged later in life if they cannot continue in their speciality sport due to injury, being cut, or incurring too much financial costs or motivation or whatever else it is. So here's some examples. If a child only specialises in soccer, they will become proficient in skills such as running, kicking, dribbling with your foot and agility. However, they may never learn the skills such as throwing, catching, jumping, sliding that are required in other sports, and which are also then required in soccer or football as they progress on into a more competitive scenario. So for example, if we haven't developed the motor skill of jumping and we're asking kids to jump for a header and defend and things, playing the ball in the air, when we haven't developed those jumping skills. Or if we haven't developed those catching skills, then we're asking kids to join soccer teams and we need a goalkeeper. If we haven't got those movement skills, we're leaving ourselves open to kind of not have those key positions. Early specialisation also means that children are not taught the fundamental skills needed to play soccer, so they may never get proficient in the key skills needed to play that sport. So if a child cannot balance very well, then obviously that's going to affect their kicking techniques. So it's around developing those key things such as balance and stability. So if they haven't developed this, how are they actually going to succeed when they play the sport? Well, if we've got those movement skills correct at the start and then they play soccer, then they're going to be better at being able to kick the ball. So there's really a clear potential, barrier which ultimately could impact children's desire and ability to take part in that sport of soccer. So the driver of the kind of key things that we've linked back to those movement skill sessions is, early specialisation basically neglects those movement skills, which can have a long-term effect on the child and performer. The other thing in terms of specialising early, it's harder to acquire those movement skills later in teen to adult years than it is during childhood. Children who specialise before developing their base of movement skills, before they've having a variety of experience in movement and games and sports, may miss out on opportunities in later life, or may have more difficulty in leading, physically active lifestyles. In addition to the FMS development, the timing of growth, and which varies among children, can also influence the skill of performance. What I'd like to do now is watch the following YouTube video by Jack Nicholas, who talks about his experiences of sport and specialisation and the positive impact of his rounded development as a child on his performance as an elite athlete.